As usual, a scorching sun reigns over Ouarzazate, my hometown, for most of the year, compelling the population to adapt, whether they like it or not, to this climatic reality that imposes its law and turns the inhabitants of this region into true slaves living at its mercy. To cope, the locals have found in the materials used to build their homes, along with the architectural styles they adopted, effective ways to shield themselves, as much as possible, from the harsh climate that torments them both in winter and summer. Nevertheless, the humble people who inhabit my region seem to live serenely, never showing any signs of aversion toward this natural curse. Resignation, in fact, is the primary quality of the people in my community. They seem to have developed an unshakable acceptance of their fate and a sense of satisfaction with the little they possess or the austere conditions in which they live. Since my earliest conscious awareness, I have always dreamed of telling the stories of others in a book, stories that reveal the small joys punctuating their existence, while also shedding light on their countless struggles and the daily challenges of their lives. The opportunity has finally presented itself through the following lines, which I hope will faithfully reproduce the events that shaped my personality and made me the man I am today. Aziz, my father, served as an ordinary soldier in the Royal Armed Forces, specifically as a medic. This profession required him to move from one region to another, subject to frequent transfers. Fortunately, one of his wise decisions was not to drag his wife along on these assignments. Otherwise, we would have suffered greatly from his numerous relocations across Morocco. At the age of 45, he retired. However, instead of granting him peace for the remainder of his life, his retired status paradoxically plunged him into painful precarity. The meager pension he received barely covered our most basic needs for the first 15 days of each month. This pitiful pension could not even address the urgent necessities of his small family, which included his 3 children, his wife, and his 2 elderly parents. Overwhelmed by this grim situation, he resigned himself to exploring all possible options to make ends meet. He ended up taking on various odd jobs, just to ensure we could eat enough to satisfy our hunger. This was especially difficult, given that we lived in Ouarzazate, a city in southern Morocco, where job opportunities were nearly non-existent. Apart from a few small housing construction sites scattered here and there, the city lacked industries and manufacturing plants capable of employing a large workforce. This left only the menial jobs a small town could offer: shoe shining, porter work, artisan assistance, among others, jobs suitable for a young person starting out in life, but hardly for a middle-aged man with several mouths to feed. Fatna, my mother, possessed a personality vastly different from my father's. Her charisma, determination to steer our family with a steady hand, and her exceptional generosity made her the true captain of the small ship that was our family, even though she constantly displayed an almost religious submission to my father's authority. It goes without saying that in doing so, she was merely perpetuating a centuries-old tradition in our region, wherein women are expected to voluntarily, completely, and irrevocably submit to their husband's authority, even in cases where the reasons for such submission are few or non-existent. One need only observe her peaceful demeanor, her perpetually lowered gaze, and her serene, almost inaudible voice to be convinced of this. My mother lived solely for her children and her husband. Like my father, the various household chores consumed nearly all of her time, leaving her only a few moments of respite, at night when she lay down for a few hours of deep sleep, or in the afternoon when, despite herself, she succumbed to an overwhelming desire to take a short nap.